Hello and welcome to In the Court of the Wenton King, our final Zeppelin review. It's going to be our final Zeppelin review. We're never going to do another Zeppelin review. So it's fitting what it is that we're doing with Celebration Day, the reunion. It's the reunion album, or the closest thing I'll get to a reunion album. What did you think of it?
Pretty good, actually. Very heavy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It seems quite, I don't know if compressed is the word, but it seems quite chunky.
I think there's a couple of reasons for that, but we'll come to that.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's sort of like a, when they announced this thing, we all remember that they were going to do this one-off concert. And it's going to be massive, and it sold out in seconds, and you were very, very lucky to get a ticket, sort of thing. I think we were all a little bit dubious about how
good it was going to be.
How good it was going to be.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, they did. That's the thing. That's the
Pulled
thing.
it off.
Yeah. There were, of course. Well, I count 4 reunions. So the first reunion was, of course, Live Aid, which was pretty dodgy. But apparently, the plan originally it was Plant's rhythm section from his band with Jimmy Page, and then somehow Phil Collins got in on the act as well. So it's actually Plant's drummer with Phil Collins, and then John Paul Jones said, "Hello, I'm here. Shouldn't I be doing this?" So he had to come in and actually play keyboard because they already had Plant's bass player. So somehow there's a lot of Plant influence there about him not wanting it to be Led Zeppelin, or maybe not wanting John Paul Jones there, or something to do with the balance of power. I would think he wants Jimmy Page in his band. Is what he wants. Second reunion, of course, is the Atlantic Anniversary debacle, which was also a dodgy performance, and they can't blame Phil Collins for that one, although he was there. It wasn't his fault in the previous time either, but something went on there. I don't quite know. They were delayed in coming on. There was something happening where Plant had to sort of sweet talk a whole load of people backstage. I don't know the details, but that meant Plant was hoarse when he came on stage 3 hours late or whatever. And Page was really, really nervous, and supposedly the mixing guy deliberately put the monitor feed through the satellite transmission. So what you get is actually their monitor feed without the effects on the guitar or anything like that, and it's not nice. It's not very good. But something happened there. So if you do know what happened there, let us know. The third one was the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing where they jammed with Aerosmith. I don't know if you count that or not. So this is the 4th attempt, and I think Plant wanted to sort of right a wrong there, and that they didn't sort of cap it off with a good thing, and they sort of failed, and etc. But also, I mean, you've got what happened in the 90s. So I haven't mentioned yet. It was Page and Plant, and Jimmy Page got together with David Coverdale, did an album with David Coverdale, which outsold Plant's album. Plant's album didn't do that well, and Coverdale Page, at least in Japan and America, did very, very well. So then, of course, when Plant got offered the chance to do Unplugged, he said, "Oh, Jimmy, do you want to come and play with me in my band?" No John Paul Jones, interestingly. I can understand in that context, but you put it all together.
It seems very unfair, doesn't it?
I think the first 2 years of Page and Plant, I think, were good. The album they subsequently did, I thought, was awful. But this is a Led Zeppelin reunion. This was planned for a long time and took a lot of work. And I think, ultimately, they got away with it. I think it was only just. ELP did much a similar thing. This was the best they could do, and it was good enough. It is good enough, it is really good. But if you sort of analyse it technically, only just. It teeters on the brink. Maybe that you could argue, well, that's what Led Zeppelin do, but not quite. It could have been dodgy, and they just about got away with it. Partially due to the loud sound effects of Page's guitar, etc. Most of the songs are down-tuned a whole tone as well, which is interesting, which suggests Plant isn't as comfortable singing that stuff as he was in the mid-90s.
Did Jason Bonham have an effect?
Yeah,
did you think?
I don't know. I mean, we know Jason Bonham has got better, in that they weren't really happy with Jason Bonham's playing in the 80s. I think they tended to do a bad performance and then blame the drummer, who hadn't done anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with Phil's playing on that at all. It's not anything to do with Phil. It's to do with them being hoarse and out of tune, and some bits are better than others. It's interesting, Jason Bonham, in the way he plays. He's the expert on the band, so they need him there to remind them. This is how you did this. This is how you play this. But the way he plays, he doesn't play like his father. He doesn't play the songs the same as his father. He plays it his own way, which is an interesting way of doing it. Maybe it's more that he shouldn't do that. At least one time where I thought it was a missed opportunity, which I'll talk about. Track one. Good times, bad times.
Down.
Down. The Down song. I mean, it's obviously they wanted something interesting as an opener, something unexpected. If they'd opened with Rock and Roll, or Song Remains the Same, or even the Wanted song, it would have been a bit, we've heard this, But obviously they opened with something completely different. That was a really good idea. Apparently, the monitors weren't working, they couldn't hear themselves at all So they did a good job there of keeping it together. But they had, at the same time, they opened with a very easy song, a very, very easy song, on Plant's voice and on the players as well, which may have played a part in it.
Nothing wrong with that though, is there?
No. And in the end, obviously, that turned out to be a good idea.
Yeah. Track 2, Ramble On.
Ramble On. Played much the same as with Page and Plant. It sounds the same as any Page and Plant performance. Plant doesn't sing the alternating lines. God, it's just too much breath to do that. It's fine. It's all right.
But isn't that an acoustic song?
Yes. There's lots of acoustics guitar on it. There's electric guitar on it as well.
Well, that's the thing that stood out to me. It sounds good.
Well, the question is, how do you play it live? And of course, they didn't in the 70s. So this is an arrangement for a 4-piece band. Black Dog. So yeah, Black Dog. I mean, I think some of the songs work down-tuned better than others. And I think Black Dog works really well down-tuned, actually. Because it sounds heavier, doesn't it? And with the modern guitar effects as well. It's great. Really good version. It's interesting, that was the one they had clips of on the news and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In My Time of Dying. Now this is technically down-tuned, but they always played it in this key, actually. So it was always down-tuned. It was... But there's a different feel here. Maybe they're playing it like they're older. So in a way, this is one of the more authentic parts of the concert, in that it's more bluesy, if you like, and more playing it like old men, and it works fantastically well. I think it's one of the highlights.
I always like that song anyway.
Next song.
For Your Life.
Yeah, the next 3 songs for me go together, and they're the highlight of the concert for me. These are the songs they may not have played, and of course there isn't an acoustic set. And on the one hand, well, Page and Plant did that, you know, but in a way they were playing it safe, I think. But at the same time, I wonder if Jason Bonham was involved in saying, do you remember those 2 awesome songs you used to play, and look at this song here. But it's kind of Presence style. One of them wasn't on Presence. For Your Life, Trampled Underfoot, and Nobody's Fault But Mine. And they're all fantastic. There's one bit in For Your Life with the solo. Now I've grown up playing For Your Life on the guitar, and I've learned to play the guitar to it, and there's a certain way I've decided it should be played, because I've never heard it live. And you know, I'm doing kind of, I don't know what I'm doing, I suppose I'm channeling Holdsworth and Vi and stuff like that. And Page isn't, it's good, it's a bluesy, dirty, whammy bar stuff. It's interesting when you watch the video and that you can read things into what's happening that aren't really there, but I mean, actually, like with the Pink Floyd reunion, there's a bit when Dave Gilmour turns around to Nick Mason and smiles while Roger Waters happens to be singing, and the amount of analysis of that smile, he just smiled. It wasn't. But I think there's a bit where Page is just going, and Robert Plant is sort of doing, come on, keep it together. He's worried. Is he falling apart? But it actually works fantastically well. All 3 of those tracks, brilliant.
Yeah, great stuff.
Yeah.
We're going straight to No Quarter.
Yeah. Now, conversely, remember they didn't play Achilles' Last Stand, but apart from that, these are their 4 best songs, I think. And this is the low point of the album for me, in that their 4 best songs didn't really happen. Now, what happened was that Plant, clever man, insisted we do this, right, but no overtly heavy metal songs. So no Immigrant Song, who cares, no Achilles' Last Stand. You listen to the way he sings them, he's taking it easy on his voice, so maybe he couldn't really do that with Achilles, so maybe that's part of it, that's fair enough. But he also said no jamming, you've got to play the songs like they were on the album. They've never played them like that, so they're not really like they were on the album, but they are a lot shorter, and I think the big epic stuff suffered massively, maybe for that reason.
Yeah.
And we watched this on a bootleg in probably, well, it can't have been 2007, it would have been 2008, at your house, and I remember it was when we were watching Dazed and Confused, you said that they're just going through the motions. And that's the feeling of those songs, and you can't judge it on watching a bootleg. You should judge it on this. So whether clever production has improved things or what, I think No Quarter works well. If you hadn't heard any other live version of No Quarter, you think that's a good version of No Quarter, and it's okay. You know, Since I've Been Loving You is a bit of a dodgy version of Since I've Been Loving You. It could have been a lot better. There's ones in 95, 96 which are way better than that, and there's actually a bit from Page. He goes, which, but I'm kudos to him for not overdubbing and fixing anything. Apparently there was a little bit of voice that was fixed, but no guitar at all. So it's live with the guitar, so that's fair enough. And Stairway to Heaven, which falls completely flat for me. It is literally flat. It's a whole tone flat, but it is like the album version and just feels very meh. There's just something hanging over the song that's just. Remember, Plant did say years and years ago, that's me, I'm not ever playing that song again, and he did play it here once, quietly. Apparently he did say this they can't put Stairway at the end of the set. There you go. What do you think of those 4 tracks?
Yeah, I agree with you. It should be the high point, but we've got to remember Led Zeppelin are known for epic concerts, epic 3-hour long concerts. and they are getting on a little bit, and they haven't been doing it for a long time. So maybe, our expectations are a little bit high. Maybe their expectations of themselves are a little bit high, and the energy's just not there anymore to do.
Yeah, I think
that kind of thing.
That's part of the fear. Is it's got to be all or nothing, in that they have to be able to pull it off properly, and that's maybe why they didn't tour with it, because they only just got away with it. Yeah.
I think also the point you said about them playing the songs as they were on the album or Planting Seeds, I actually think that was the right thing to do, because this is obviously the last hurrah.
Yeah,
there is going to be no more. So we
got more songs as a result.
Yeah,
actually, we wouldn't have got Fully Alive.
So in that sense, yeah, good. But you're right that the performances weren't particularly fantastic. But then in these live shows, it's always the ones that aren't so well known that suddenly come out and you think, "Oh, flipping out, that was good." That always win the day.
Yeah, I think you're right. But yeah, because of that, because Plant said, well, you can't put Stairway at the end, you've kind of got an end of a set here, and then you have an extra mini set on the end. I think it's a very, very good set list. I wonder how much Jason Bonham played a part in that, having the sort of fans' knowledge of bootlegs and stuff. It's because next we get the Summer Rains Us Now, and it is down-tuned, and it suffers from being down-tuned. It doesn't work as well a whole tone down, because it's an up song, obviously, it's Pineapple Rock. And here I think he missed a trick. I'm amazed Jason Bonham didn't do the Listen to This Eddie intro, the Going Mental. But maybe he felt that was his dad's thing and it should only have been done once. And him playing it would sort of destroy the mythology of it a bit. Mm-hmm. That only Bonham could do that. So that's okay. He did screw up actually in Dazed and Confused. There's a proper train wreck bit at the end of the solo of Dazed and Confused where Page is playing very crunchily, and I suspect he just didn't quite pick up the end. Kind of like that. And comes in at the wrong time, and they just about get away with it as they go back into the verse, but only just. It's well dodgy. But there's no mixing, there's no sneaky cuts of anything, it's all there. So, fair enough. Misty Mountain Hop. I think because actually Jason Bonham's doing the backing vocals, it works really well. But they did cut out a little bit of Jason Bonham singing I Can't Quit, actually, which was at the concert, and they cut it off. I don't think they should have done that. They might have shown it.
Present it as is.
Yeah. Plant says, right, so Jason Bonham's going to sing for you now. So he sings a bit of I Can't Quit. I thought that was really good. Kashmir. Really good version of Kashmir, actually. Well produced, well performed. Interesting they didn't do the Page and Plant version, which I like because I think it needed a bit more of light and shade and stuff. This is just a straight Kashmir. Maybe they couldn't do it because John Paul Jones, they couldn't have said to John Paul Jones, well, this is how we do it now. Yeah. Or maybe it's Led Zeppelin now, so it's...
I actually think this little bit might play well, because it was broadcast live, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, no. No, it wasn't. No. It was. Well, we got bits of it live.
Oh, right, okay. So I can imagine a lot of Radio 1 listeners tuning in to Led Zeppelin thinking whole lot of love Kashmir, and getting a whole lot of stuff that they're not too familiar with, and then finally getting to this and thinking, yeah, finally.
I remember you saying the first half of at the time you didn't know all the albums that well, did you?
Yeah.
I remember you saying the first half is like the unknown stuff, and the second half is all the famous stuff.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know that because I know all of them so well. But you're right. The big songs come in the second half, don't they?
Obviously, no. I think the first half is the better half.
Whole Lot of Love. The Whole Lot of Love is in the original key. Interestingly, I don't know why. Plant sings it slightly differently.
Yeah.
And then we get Rock and Roll, and any performance by Plant of Rock and Roll after about 92 is going to be wonderful. When he changes the way he sung, when he reaches the high notes again, great, can't go wrong.
I think it's a bit poignant as well, finishing on that one. It's been a long time since a rock and roll. Just sort of.
That's true, yeah.
I don't know if that was the reason it was put there, but I thought that was quite poignant.
So yeah,
Celebration Day.
It's great. It is great. There were some fans surprised by the quality of the guitar playing, complaining about the guitar playing, but that's because they don't know what Jimmy Page sounds like. That's just what Jimmy Page sounds like. He did injure his finger, didn't he? Do you remember?
Yeah.
And they had to postpone it 2 weeks, and maybe he would have played a bit better. Maybe this was just how he would have normally played, and without that maybe he would have been upped his game a little bit, and it would have just been pushed it up a bit.
What was that? The concert we watched. It was like a Freddie Mercury concert or something like that.
Oh, the Queen tribute concert.
It might have been the Queen tribute concert or something like that. Yeah. Where he came on and played and did his stuff.
He did this thing called Love, and he did what's it called from the 80s, the one Nobody Can Sing. I can't remember.
Was he absolutely awful in that?
And apparently Plant asked for it to be removed because he didn't think it was a good performance. It was just a too difficult song to sing. Nobody could sing it, But this thing called Love was great. Obviously, what we haven't mentioned, that Plant obviously had another album coming out, around the time, and the other members have said this, that every time they do something like this, oh, I've got an album, mate. Did I mention that? He does it in Live Aid as well. And the Alison Krauss album, which is really good actually, was huge. That must have played a part. The fact that he had a really good album in his hands. Oh look, Led Zeppelin. Cleverly manipulated so it becomes the Robert Plant show. Plant owns the stage with this stuff, because they've shortened the songs and everything, But he plays it with absolute conviction. I think it's great.
Yeah.
You might have thought him to be a bit sarcastic, a bit tongue in cheek, and he was on Live Aid. You watch him on A Lot of Love, he looks slightly embarrassed, but he doesn't here. He plays it straight. And it's brilliant. Great performance.
Yeah.
Buy it. 4 eggs.
4 eggs.
4 eggs.
Yeah.
See you next week. See you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.